Huzzah! Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of work with a stick and a couple blocks. We're gonna do a little bit of balancing and engaging the lines of the body. It's gonna be a strengthening practice as well as a lengthening and balancing practice. There's gonna be a good amount of opening and core stability as well. So this is an overall practice to entrain the lines of energy and power throughout the body. You're not doing a lot of overcoming load with weight or weight-bearing movements. You're also not doing just completely flow with your body. It's going to be sequenced and systematized in a way where you're building through repetitions, but it's also really important to do intuitive movement while we're doing this practice. So we're going to start right into it. You're going to grab this stick. It can be a broom handle, whatever works for you that you have. You're just going to bring behind your back. Bring yourself to standing. And pull the shoulders together. And just feel the shoulders sit down the back first. This is naturally a very hard opening pose. It's opening up the chest in a way that doesn't usually stay open because we tend to round forward. But this is going to lock it in place. And while you lock it in place, you'll notice the upper back doesn't really round forward as much. And that's important because we're going to start by working into the legs. So first thing first, you just want to turn on the feet. You're just going to floss a little bit dynamically back and forth in a lunge position. And if you haven't focused on balance much, you might find that even just balancing back and forth, you're a little wobbly. That's okay. These are just areas and practices that you need to build into your sequencing, into your routines. And you really have to start tapping into the breath, right? Deep inhale and long exhale, flossing back and forth, feeling the calves, noticing into the hips, pausing in deeper spaces, keeping that heart nice and open, maybe even rotate out a little bit, feel into the hips, get some good clicks and clacks, reach up and over, moving through these warrior positions. This is intuitive, this is whatever feels right in your body, opening up to a little wide squat type position, a horse pose, goddess squat, whatever's right. And then switching sides. Just gonna move a little bit back and forth, right? Keeping it nice and upright. And just working out the kinks and feeling into the body before we start doing these more dynamic, controlled postures. This is just the intuitive flossing, right? You're just brushing off areas that were holding tension through the day, whatever you're doing. Just gonna bring this mat over a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna get into this sequence that's gonna engage the back line, and we're gonna start with the left leg. So we're gonna plant this left leg down. We're gonna bring the right leg back, reach away, and then draw yourself up, lifting the right leg forward. Inhale, extend the right leg back. Exhale, lift up. Focusing on the breath. Inhale back. Exhaling up. Stability through the body. Control and composure. Thinking about the left glute. It's stabilizing you here. Then it's squeezing to draw you up. Then your right hip flexor engages low core to draw the leg up. Reach the right leg back. Exhale out. You can play with the right toes pointing back or you're dragging through the heel, whichever way feels best. Both are functional. One is not better than the other. They work a little bit differently. If the foot comes down, you wobble, that's all good. You'll start to feel the left hip really starting to engage after not that much time. Only do a couple more. Somewhere around 10, we'll really start to fire up the body. Pause at the top, find the position, set the right foot down. We're gonna now, because we've activated the left glute quite a bit, we're gonna place these blocks towards the top of the mat, and you're gonna use this as like a little stepping stone. So the left foot's gonna go onto the blocks. Right foot's gonna come back to whatever degree of a lunge feels good to you and your body, and then you drive yourself up. Coming back down. Strong work with the breath and the balancing body. Inhaling back. Exhale, driving up. Inhale back. Exhale, squeeze the glute. Use the glute that you just activated to fire you up. Very functional standing postures. Control it back. Control the ascent. Control the descent. Just do 2 more. Hold it up. Settle it right back down. Okay, so you go for 10 and 10, 10 and 8, something like that. Aiming for around 20 between the two. You know where you're going next. Just right into the right side. Sometimes when you do that much balance, there's a lot of focusing involved. So the mind can get really tired. So going to the other side, you're sloppy to get, like, right from the get-go. If that's what you're feeling, just like do something that settles your body, shifts the energy, so you can go back into it fresh, so you're giving the same amount of attention. It's like 2 different people. Your left side might be good, your right side might be like a little bit grumpy. You have to give them both a different type of attention, right? So you need to give that time to the left. Good, you did that. You did that one first, so maybe you had more energy. Bring yourself back to center. Give that same level of attention to the right side. Root into the right foot. Feel that space. Inhale the left leg away. Like, I know this is my shakier side, so I know I put more focus. If you notice, you're reaching out to one side, like I lean towards my right hip a little bit more. I go to the edge of the foot. That means I need to drive through the left toe mound of my foot, the inner arch of the heel, and really focus on my breath. So go to that focus, go to that place of discipline, and be curious, right? Because you can go straight discipline, but have no fun. That's not worth it. This is an exploration of like, oh, how are my muscles firing? What's happening exactly? Why is that happening? Let me feel that. Let me feel each ounce of space. This side is much wobblier for me, and that's all right. It gets spicy. If it gets spicy, you need to move it out, wiggle a little bit. Go for it. Be intuitive with what your body needs. Okay, right foot's gonna go on top of the blocks. Left leg back. Glute drive you to standing. Inhale back. Exhale, stand up. So my breath, if I wasn't talking, would sound something like this. These are very warrior, powerful movements. If there was some kind of enemy or thing you're trying to overcome, you wouldn't just barely breathe. You wouldn't just be like, oh boy, I hope I make it over the mountain. You'd do something to energize your body and drive yourself up. Really powering the body up with breath. Good. Okay, so now we've engaged both sides. And let's now do something symmetrical to pull it all together. So we're gonna do like a wide-legged squat, pulling yourself to the edges of the mat. Imagine rooting and sucking the ground up, inhaling down, exhaling, driving up. Now, how can you think about a squat in a way where you're just cultivating energy? You're just pumping energy in the body. It's not about, oh, how many reps do I need to do? You're feeling different positions. Maybe you want to go a little wider. I'm using the squat This compression, this extension. This compression, this extension. The same way as if I'm pumping energy in my lungs. You can even walk into a little bit, moving side to side. The more creative and controlled you can get in these type of positions, pausing the bottom, driving up, finding different spaces to pause in, the more you get better at that transitional space, which means the muscle fibers are controlled the whole way throughout, which is going to translate to overall better functions because your mechanics become more fluid. Good, that's a lot of work in the legs. Now do something, place this thing off to the side. That stabilizes the whole front of the body. So we're gonna come onto the blocks, into a high plank. Let's have feet wide, hands a little wide too. Imagine you're like a spider. You're holding yourself between like a door frame. Really far, hollow out the body. Just breathe. Maybe you shake a little bit, press down to the knuckles. As long as you can hold it. There's always options. You can always bring the knees down. But try to stay with it. Pull the belly in. Walk the feet together. Stay here. Stay present. Draw yourself a little forward. Stay present. Bring yourself back towards downwards dog. Bring the blocks more onto the mat. Reach the left leg up. Come onto the right toes. Okay, so now I'm going to move these blocks off to the side so we can have better grip. You can stand there if it feels easier or put your hands down. So now we're going to work into that same extension of the leg. We're going to do it from a downward dog position on one foot. Inhale, lift up, come onto the toes, reach out the back heel, drive down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You're pulsing and pumping into the hips, feeling the calf as well. That's it, 4 more. Come all the way up, hold it, and then pull the left leg forward. Step outside left hand. Inhale, draw the chest forward. Exhale, press it back. So you pump the leg, inhale. Turn that power on. Then you exhale, you floss it, you stretch it. Inhale. Exhale. Feel into the motions. Inhale. Exhale. Good, let's do a couple more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Step the right foot up to the left, outside of the hands. Draw yourself up tall. Reach to the sky. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Okay, we're gonna bring the left leg forward. Right leg's gonna be back about a third of the distance. You're not like super far. Okay, bring the hands together to the heart. Fold out, soften the knee a little bit, and then pull the left hip back. So now we're stretching from the deep hip into the hamstring. Maybe bring the hands behind the back and interweave the fingers. Bring the palms overhead. Bowing forward. Stretching the chest and the hamstring, shoulders. Keep pulling that left hip back. Slowly release the hands. Step it back to downward dog. Okay, same thing other side. So left foot roots down, right leg's gonna come up. Inhale, reach the leg up and come up onto the toes of the left foot. Exhale, right foot comes down, left heel comes down. Inhale, reach up with both. Exhale, down. 8 more. 6, 7, 8. Bring the right foot forward. Step it outside the hands. Inhale, bring the chest forward. Exhale, fold. Stretch it out. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, draw forward. Exhale, fold. Maybe 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. These feel good when you can really start to just feel and not focus so much on, I have to do so many. You're just moving into these spaces as far as your body's willing to take you. Okay? Step yourself forward. Draw yourself up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Right leg forward, left leg back about a third of the way. Bow forward, pulling the right hip back. And find your stance here. Your feet aren't on a tightrope, they're separated a little bit. Pull this right hip back. Maybe hands interweave again, opposite thumb on top. Arms come up overhead. You bow a little deeper. But it's whatever feels right, don't force it. This is a good practice to wind yourself into the floor. So you do all this little work to turn on the legs and you open them up. Let's release the hands. Step it back to a plank. Drop the knees, bring the toes wide. Sink yourself into child's pose just to stretch out the tops of the legs. Opening up deep into the hips. And right here, you're already starting to sink and you breathe. You give yourself this nice pose of rest. We're not done opening the body just yet. You do that activation, turn things on. And you loosen up those spaces when they're deep and warm. Okay, bring yourself forward. Step the right leg forward. Sink into the hips here. Bring the hands on top of the right leg. Sink down. Drop back up. Exhale, sink with it down. Inhale, draw back up. Exhale, sink down. Bring the right hand to the left thigh and the left arm up and over. Stretch across the chest. Open into the space of the hip. Maybe look up and under the left arm. Cut the left arm to the edge of the right thigh. Twisting. Bring the hands together at the heart center. Rotation. Breathing. You can stay here, maybe you want to split the arms. Sinking a little deeper. Coming back. Bring the left arm behind the back. Bring the right arm to the top of the left elbow. Sink into the hips. Don't jump so much. Keep some composure in the low abdomen. Take a breath. Breathe it out. Pivot the right heel in, draw yourself up. Or left heel, excuse me. Bring the right arm to the right thigh and the left arm over the sky. Sink into the hips. Take another breath. Bring the left hand down, bring the left leg back out, bring the right arm to the sky. Press down through the left arm, roll the shoulder open. Expand out to the right fingertips. Then exhale, bring the right hand down. Come back to that child's pose. Widen the knees out. Bring the chest down. Bit by bit, you're stacking these openers now. Body starts to change. Mind starts to feel a little different. You know it's coming because you did one side, which informs the other. You draw yourself up. Right knee comes down, left foot comes forward. Okay, hands start on top of the thigh. Inhale up. Press stop the right shin down, then exhale, sink forward. Inhale up, find your focus, stay with it. Exhale, sink forward. Inhale up. Accessing forward, left hand to the right thigh, right arm up and over. Find the length as much as you can, even through the fingertips. Reach long, express out to the side body. And then cut the right elbow across the thigh. Bring the hands together, find the rotation. Maybe readjust, wiggle a little deeper. Split the arms. Come back to center. Bring the right hand behind the back. Bring the left hand to the elbow. Sink. Open across the arm. Sink into the hips. Pivot the right heel in. Bring the left arm to the left thigh and the right arm up and over towards the sky. Good. Bring your hand down. Bring the soles of the feet together. Sinking into bound angle pose now. Hands come underneath the edges of the feet. Chest draws nice and broad. Exhale, hinge the chest forward. Reach out to the heart, so don't dump. Reach it out and open. Draw the chin in, lengthen the back of the neck. Slow the breath down. Soften the gaze. Release tension across the face. Notice it all start to settle. Draw yourself up. Move the block out of the way. Widen the stance. Draw tall. Exhale, hinge forward. Engage through the toes. So don't let the feet and legs get inactive. You may find some binding in the space around the hip capsule. Do a little bit of movement here. Mindfully, carefully. You're deep into the hamstrings now. You're deep into the rotators of the hip. If you haven't done these types of motions lately, or ever, be very mindful of what you're doing here. Draw tall, then crawl the fingers forward. Like right here, this feels okay. I can go deeper. I do not need to, because this feels substantial. It feels like a really, really deep space, and I don't need to go much deeper because I'm not trying to hurt myself. Nor is it a competition with anyone. It's not even a competition with myself. It's creation with myself. That's, if you can move from the competitive plane into the creative plane, you open up all these possibilities for you, because it's no longer about what anyone else is doing. It's about how you are feeling and creating within yourself as yourself. That's what we're going for. Takes the pressure off too. You still need to be disciplined and consistent, creative, tenacious. But you don't need to be whipping yourself about it to make yourself better than someone else. There's no point. Good. Draw yourself back up and the legs together. We're gonna open it all up now. Roll yourself. Actually, before you roll yourself down, walk your hands back. Bring the fingers to face away, and then scoop the hips forward. Stretch the chest this way. Scoop the hips forward even more. Woo! Just let this passively pull and traction these shoulders away from you for a moment. It's a space we don't normally get into. Don't let it jam into the elbows, so if you start to feel that, walk the hands out to the sides. Then roll the body down. Okay, there are options here. You can do a traditional bridge where you lift up, hands can just hold onto the mat. You can clasp the hands underneath, step 2. This is a nice one, so if you clasp the hands underneath, then press back with the heel so it pulls the shoulders down. Pull the legs together. Try holding this for a few moments. If you know you can do more, you can clasp onto the top of the ankles. This is really going to open up the chest, drive down and open everything up.
Now focus gently drawing the chin and lengthen the back of the neck and spread the top of the shoulders open as you pull them down and away by driving through your heels. Feel the top of the quads open. Feel the hip flexors. Pull a little bit with the hands. If you wanted to go a step farther, you're starting to feel that's open, that's spreading, that's nice. You can stay here or keep the shoulders traction down. Rotate the hands up and over. Press yourself into a full wheel. Maybe adjust the feet. Drive the heart forward, open the chest more if that's accessible. Or stay wherever you're at. And then slowly lower the body down, groove the spine onto the floor, draw the legs into the chest, make yourself into a tiny little ball. Little nugget. Roll, massage the spine. That's a big pose after those deep settling poses. You're gonna bring yourself into happy baby pose. Adjust your tiny shorts. Clasp onto the edges of your feet. And then draw yourself into this pose. Hands on the edge of the feet, hips stacked over knees. Lengthening the tailbone down towards the floor. Breathing. Softening the shoulders down, releasing again the face. Deep into the low belly, into the sockets of the hips. Calming it all down. Relieving tension. Making more space. Good. Extend the left leg away. You need more space by going on your mat, however you need. Okay, clasp onto the edge of the right leg. Pick the hip up and shift it over, and then roll the leg across the body. Look over towards the right hand. Find this gentle twist. Good. Come back to the center. Flip it. Clasp onto the edge of the left leg. Pick the hip up, roll it over, look towards the left hand. Soften the shoulder down. It's really all about the breath. When you can drop the breath into the body faster, you can drop the body into the floor easier, you can release the muscles easier. You have a practice control over the nervous system in a way that starts to allow the nerve impulse of the muscles to calm down. Switches you right into that rest and digest healing state. Very nice. Come back to the center, grab one of your blocks. Grab the block, bring it up and underneath the tailbone. On whatever height is best, probably the low or medium height. If you're advanced, you can bring it onto the highest height, but advanced doesn't mean you need that every single day. I'm an advanced practitioner and I don't do that every day because I don't need it. So bring it right onto the tailbone and then slide it away from you before you extend the legs out. If you have anything in the way, move it. You want it right underneath the tailbone so it's stretching the front of the hip flexors passively. And then you want to think about, okay, the hip flexors are where I'm focusing my attention. That's where things I want to open. Can I bring my breath into the body like I'm trying to fill up this whole entire cavity, this whole space down here? Calm it all down. Walk the heel away a little more. Walk the other heel away a little more. Release the tension across the body. Stay breathing. Now this is a space you can just melt into. You can just allow time to sink the body into the floor, and this block is just an object that your spine cascades over, releasing tension throughout the body, allowing more ease, allowing more grace to enter that space where there once was tension, where there once was gripping and guarding. The only effort now on drawing deeper breaths into the belly and releasing more into the earth. And when you feel you've had enough, you can go on for longer. You walk the heels in, just enough to lift the hips up just a scotch, just a hair. Pull the block out, roll the body down nice and smooth. And then extend the legs back out into a resting position. Or you breathe longer, or you breathe slower. You stay here for as long as is right. After this, you can wind down or carry on with your day. This might have been a little middle of the day interjection, or maybe it's the end of the day, whatever is best. However you end, give yourself a little moment of gratitude for practicing, for showing up, for being here, for being in your body, for enjoying that space, for the work you put in, and for the ease you cultivated. Bring yourself up nice and slowly whenever you're ready. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.